Hello and welcome back to the Game Bet Match podcast. I'm your host Manny Friedman, along with my co-host.
Brad Sloan.
Back in the house, baby.
Yeah, back in the house. Hey,
Back in the house.
French Open time, so we got to do two pods in the same week for once.
We do, and it's been one of my best weeks ever in betting. So I'm stoked right now.
Yeah,
How's the
it's
betting been for you?
it's been solid. It's been solid, like steady. Like I haven't had like a whole lot of big parlays out there to make like a ton of units, but it's
Yeah.
been like steady. Like feels like steady every day, winning a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the parlays were amazing. I don't post the parlays. I track my single bets because that's kind of like
The bread and
based
butter.
bread and butter, and parlays are just like lotto tickets basically, but like I hit a 30 to 1, a 100 to 1, and a 65 to 1 in like 3 days in a row. So like my bankroll has just exploded.
Yeah,
it's
that's
it's been
insane.
incredible. I mean, obviously the single bets have done pretty well too, as a result of that, but it's been fantastic. It's been good. So it today was a horrible day of tennis, but I felt like overall it's been a really fun week. I thought round two was incredible both days, honestly. Especially that day where we started with like Bublik and De Minaur, and then we had Fees against Munar, and then we ended with that Monfils Draper classic. Like I thought that was one of the best days of Grand Slam tennis I could remember.
That was a great day. That particular day was a really, 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 really cool day.
Uh-huh.
With all the great matches.
Yeah.
Um, I think outside of that day, it's been a little underwhelming. I mean, it's the French, so you expect this, but the favorites have just rolled like
Yeah.
so easily, with the exception of um obviously Fritz got knocked out, but I don't mean that like
Yeah,
that was
that's
not
kind of
surprising.
expected, right?
And Rude got hurt. But other than that, the all the other like top seeds and guys who were believing in pre-tournament all have been, I mean, just rolling. So I think it's been disappointing from that perspective. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
that's
usually you get one guy that has a scare, right? Like I remember in 20, what was it, 22, Alcaraz played Ramos Finolas and had a 5-set scare, right? Like last year, Griekspoor had that scare, or Zverev had that scare against Griekspoor, right? So you usually have one of these guys that go through, you know, a massive scare, right? And it kind of like excites the tournament. But I don't feel like we've had that with any of the clear favorites.
right, right. I think that's my point. Like, and
Against
even
Zoomer.
when Alcaraz lost the set to Zoomer, went down a break in the fourth, like I don't think anybody thought that was like in jeopardy.
Hmm. Yeah,
Uh,
I didn't. I mean, I thought even if Zoomer won the fourth, I felt like Alcaraz would have won the fifth,
exactly.
right?
Exactly.
And his fifth set record is so amazing. So like, I don't. Yeah,
Yeah, it also just I don't know. I
Zoomer would have ran out of steam eventually, right? Like he was
It's not just
redlining.
that. Like Alcaraz played like poorly tactically in the third and beginning of the fourth. Like he's hitting drop shots against the guy that the only thing he can do is run. Like he started off the
Yeah,
match just like hammering away from the baseline. I think he just would have gone to that. Like if he needed to win the match, I feel like he just would have gone back to that and just hammered him off the baseline of 161. Like
true.
it almost feels like he knows he's a half a level above and like wants to like almost like I'm not saying he's intentionally losing sets or games.
Hmm.
I think it's more like, but like it's almost more of like a practice mindset. Like I want to improve this area. You know what I mean? Like it almost feels like it's like a. And I've said this many times, but I feel like, unlike like Nadal, when Nadal played, it felt like he wanted to hammer you 6-0, 6-0, 6-0. You and I talk about this. He actually won the French one year, like going under 18.5 in every match, which is like
That's ridiculous.
it's absurd. Like, given that it's like 30 to 1 is usually the odds for like a guy to win the tournament, like Alcaraz or Sinner win the tournament without dropping a set, it's like 30 to 1. The fact that he won the tournament without dropping a set and without it ever being close. Like, I don't even know if he was ever
Ridiculous.
down a break in a set. He might have been. I don't remember. But he won. He to
Joke,
just.
yeah.
But my
I mean,
point is like Nadal would try to do that. Like Nadal would try to destroy you.
I think that's one of the worst bet in sports to bet one of these guys to win without dropping a set. I just
Oh
don't
yeah,
think it's gonna happen
yeah,
ever. Like,
yeah.
but
Especially because again, like it's so rare that I feel like that we see a guy who like. Actually, I wouldn't say that. I think Alcaraz is probably different in that respect. I feel like Alcaraz, it feels like it's not even his goal a lot of times. Like it really
yeah,
does feel like he doesn't like. He's like he he's it's like I said. I feel like it's like a higher goal with him. Um, but yeah, I think and I think another guy to talk about is like Draper's looked really good.
he
I
has.
thought Draper's looked really good. Like he lost a set to Monfils. Monfils played his butt off.
Yep. Yep. He redlined. I mean, he redlined in the second and fourth sets, and
Yeah.
he just emptied the tank completely. And I mean, I thought that was a very, very high quality match. Like I thought Monfils playing that way would have beaten a lot of guys, to be honest.
I think there's maybe 10 guys that could have beat Monfils playing that way.
Yes, I agree with that.
And some of those guys wouldn't, by the way. That includes guys that Holger Rune that
Yeah, I don't think
could,
he would have.
but not
Wouldn't.
necessarily would. Like could easily throw the match away.
Exactly, exactly. Like Tommy Paul, like could he? Probably, but would he? Probably not.
Right.
Right? And Draper's one of those guys, and I thought that was an incredibly, I mean, you said it was a very mentally mature performance. I thought it was a very physically mature performance too.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree. Yeah. I agree. I was yeah. I
you
agree.
know, he's really improved his physicality, and that's a match where after you lose the second set and play two really physical sets, 2 years ago he would have tapped out there. He may have finished the match, but I don't think he would have um digged in the way he did. And I mean, thank you. He saved the last leg of my 100-to-1 parlay, with the -1.5 sets. So I'm very thankful for that. But
Which was amazing because he faced set point. Like
I know
Monfils served for the set
two
and
set
and
points.
then he had set points on return. Yeah, I mean
It
look,
was
this is
one
a
of
100 to 1 parlay, so I'm not gonna say you got lucky because like you obviously have to, but like
the
yeah.
most exhilarating like sweat ever too. So
Yeah. Oh,
combined
yeah,
with
I'm
the
sure.
quality of the match
Yeah.
and that it was one of the most insane like 2 hours of tennis I think I've watched.
Yeah, it
Incredible.
was an insane match.
It
Really,
was.
really, really high quality, fun stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, just and the other thing I wanted to say about that is I thought it was also like uh Draper's Draper's defense has become so underrated.
Yep.
Not just in terms of like athletic ability, but like I love like he gets so much RPM on that ball,
Mm-hmm.
especially that forehand side. Like
Yep.
I yeah, I mean I not that I wasn't already, but I'm definitely like even more bought into Draper than I was before.
Oh, I'm totally bought it. Like I actually think he's live against Sinner. Um, it probably isn't a like a very popular take, but if I'm gonna get like 4-to-1 on it, I'm probably gonna hit it because I'm really impressed the way he's playing, and I think Sinner also has some question marks from a physical perspective. Like he hasn't been tested and he's played. I mean, today was a flawless match, just like it was against Casper Ruud in Rome. But tennis is a day-to-day sport, right? So like just because he played super well today doesn't mean he's gonna like do the same thing the next match, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that has to be factored in a little bit. And that if Sinner plays Draper in the quarterfinals, that's probably going to be a day match because I feel like Djokovic and Zverev would be a night match,
That makes sense.
right? So I think physicality is going to play a part. Like if it gets deep in the fourth or fifth, I feel like Draper has some more reps than Sinner at this current moment. Like Sinner wasn't really tested physically in Rome either. And he hasn't really played a long match for quite a while, to be honest, just because he's so good. He just beats everyone down, seemingly. But I feel like Draper will be live in that match.
I would agree with that. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Especially
what,
because like on the clay, man, that forehand should really work well in the clay.
especially during the day, right? Like he was getting that
Yeah.
many RPMs against Monfils at night, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. And then you put the day match, and I think Draper is actually, yeah, I'm excited to see that match. I think it's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't, I would have to agree. I couldn't agree more.
What price would you need on Draper to hit him?
I mean, he obviously would have to be a dog.
Yep.
Um, what price specifically? Um, I think probably something around 2-1.
Wow, that low?
I mean,
You're probably going to get that. I'm assuming Sinner will
yeah.
be like I would say like a minus 350 favorite. I think that's what you're going to get. He's probably going to be like a 3.5, but like, well, maybe more, like 4.5 game favorite. That's my guess.
That's what I was thinking is it would be somewhere in that range. You know what I mean? Yeah, it'll be probably be somewhere in that range, and I probably won't bet it. I mean,
I mean, I would
you
only
know,
play the
I
money
think
line.
like as great as Draper's been, I don't think he's as good yet as those top two guys on clay. I think there still is a gap. So it's more speaking to the gap again between the top two and everybody else. Like just like his ball, I mean, Sinner's ball quality is so good. Draper's is too, but like Sinner's is so good that like, yeah, that for me would be the difference.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a interesting match because like I want to fade someone's physicality, but both of them have question marks still. Um, Sinner hasn't been tested in like deep in a fourth or fifth set recently. Draper has, but I don't know if he has versus that kind of ball quality, you know? And like we saw him at the US Open, he was tired after a set.
Yep.
Just because Sinner is like, he just puts so much consistent pressure on you. It's a different level that, even than playing a really high quality match against Gael Monfils. So I don't know, especially if it's during the
Yeah,
day.
and it's the
Hot.
constant. Like Sinner comes at you in waves. I mean, it's like every point. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, we're talking at that Monfils match. Monfils dumped some points in there too, like he would have
right.
to give away points because he'd be too tired. So like,
Sinner's not going to do that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's the thing with Sinner. There's just no gifts whatsoever. It's crazy.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I'd have to see the price. I'm gonna have to see the quarterfinals and see how they look. Stuff has to happen before we get there. So I also want to see the weather. That means a lot in capping that
yep,
match. Um, I want to see, set spreads. I got to see the lines basically.
yeah. I hear you.
It's
I
going to be
hear you.
very, very interesting to see where that's priced at.
I agree. I agree. It'll be very interesting to see where the market would put that potential matchup.
Yep. Because from a tennis perspective, I have to say Draper is live in that match. Like I don't. It's not like Alcaraz versus Shelton where there's just no
No. I mean, it's not going to be like a 5-1 match. Yeah, I agree with that.
right.
Um, yeah,
Let's talk a little bit about Lorenzo Musetti.
your favorite guy.
Yeah, my favorite guy. I'm way
Yeah,
higher on
I
him
mean,
in golf.
solid. Like we really haven't. I feel like we really haven't seen anything yet. Like, he came back from a set down against Navone, not particularly bad or good. Beat up Hanfman and Galan. Like, okay, I feel like it's that's kind of my feelings with a lot of these guys. Is it's like they're rolling great, I think for Musetti, it probably is a little bit more positive just because he hasn't had that experience of being like a top dog in a slam. And so to be a quarter favorite in a slam and be a guy that people think can make the semis, and he seems to have dealt with that fine so far,
Mhm.
like he's somebody who I don't know, I wouldn't have been stunned if one of those guys caused him a scare.
All right, I would have. I bet the under in all 3 matches. I cashed 2 of them.
Yeah, you're a Musetti guy.
I am a Mazzetti guy. I think he's playing at a supremely high level, to be honest. Like, I thought Navoni actually played a phenomenal first set. And I loved what I saw from Mazzetti the last 3 sets. I didn't I thought that was a good performance from both guys, honestly. Navoni's a pest, right? He's a guy that's just going to make a lot of balls, and he's a good clay courter. I don't think he's a scrub that like a lot of cappers think he is. Like he's a respectable clay courter,
Nimona, yeah, sure, for sure.
right?
For sure. I think he's a I mean, I prefer to use like ranking because like what does respectable mean? But I'd say he's like borderline top 50 on play.
But on European clay, I weigh him higher than Baez and like a Ugo Carabelli.
Way higher than Hugo Carbelli. Baez, I don't mean Baez maybe around that level. I mean, was absolutely terrible this season on the European clay. He's generally underperformed on the European clay. Um, so I hear your point. It's probably pretty close. Baez has really underperformed in the
Yeah,
European clay versus the South American clay.
yeah, yeah. Um, but we'll discuss the Mizzetti rematch. I'm very interested to hear what your take is. But I just love the way Mizzetti is like varying heights, varying paces, and just kind of he just seems very like mentally there. He's serving a little bit bigger. I just think he's playing at a very, very high level right now. And the matches like leading up to the French, he's been quite impressive. Like Alcaraz, he took him to a tiebreak in the second set. He beat Zverev. In Madrid, like that match versus Draper was pretty close. It was what 4-6 or something like that. So he's playing these top guys. He's not beating them necessarily, but he's playing them tough. There's been absolutely no duds whatsoever from him.
Yeah, I mean, I like what I've seen from Musetti. I would agree with
I
that.
feel like he's getting disrespected though.
I don't know if that's true. I mean, look, he was the market was asking if the market was asking if Navone would be good for a set against Musetti in a best of 5.
Yeah,
I feel like that's that's like top 10 level respect.
fair enough. Fair enough.
So I kind of so I would disagree with the idea that he's not I would disagree with the idea that he's being like disrespected. I just feel like it's I feel like I feel like he's really solid, really, 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 really solid. Yeah, I mean, look, if you look at the 3 guys he's lost to this clay season, you're looking at um Alcaraz twice and Draper. Like that's
That's
pretty
pretty
good.
damn good. That's pretty damn good. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, there's no shame in any of that. So that said,
Because like right now, my clay court power rankings for this tournament are Alcaraz 1, Sinner 2, Draper 3, Musetti 4, and Zverev 5. And I would say Djokovic is close. He's getting there. I would say he's right behind Zverev, but it's very close.
I think that makes sense. I mean, I think I really think it gets tough. I think that I think Musetti's definitely moved. Even for me, like, well, it's hard to say. Like, it's hard to make too much of this tournament because I feel like he's done what we thought he would do. Like, I mean, okay, I guess he beat Hoffman by like more games than we would have expected, but like I don't know, is that like is beating Hoffman or Galan by more games? Does that like change our opinion of him? Like, beating Navoni in 4 is good in my mind. It meets expectations. Um, yeah, I don't
Now,
know.
if he beats Rune down, that's a different story.
Right, right, right. Correct.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Djokovic.
I mean, I don't really care that he beat Mislic up today. How bad did he beat Mislic up in the third, too? Okay. I saw the first, actually, I didn't see the match. I saw that he was up 2-0. I didn't
I played
really,
the under 31, which ended up cashing, which was
pretty
nice.
easily. Yeah.
But
Yeah. I
Misalik is
mean,
he's a good matchup. Like he's a solid ball striker. He's a top tier challenger level guy on clay and probably a low level ATP guy on clay, right? Like he's in that,
yeah, I would agree. Yeah. Yep.
right?
I think
And
I saw your little write up on Exabat, and I thought it was pretty appropriate. I didn't have any issues with that.
I was surprised it was 31. Like I thought it should have been like 29 and a half, and like that would have been the right line.
Well, no, I mean, it ended up at 25 or 27. So, I mean, even lower than that. But
Yeah.
I, man, I still feel like he's not at the level of some of these top guys. Like, at this point, to me, he's got to be at best. Like, honestly, man, I think your rankings are pretty accurate. Like, I think you got it spot on. Like, of the guys left, I think that is, yeah. I mean, I think that's how I'd put him. And I don't think I could put Drake. I don't think I could put Djokovic in the top 5 there,
No,
including
but
Musetti.
the question is, would you put Musetti ahead of Zverev and Djokovic at this point? That's really the
Yeah,
question.
yeah. I think you're right too, man. I think you're right too. But it's
Most
close.
people would disagree with us, I feel.
I think it's probably true. I think it's probably true. But I mean, you and I have been generally low on Djokovic for. I mean, I think we've been generally low on him ever since that Australian Open match that lost to Sinner at the beginning of last year.
Yeah,
At the
I
beginning of 24, I'm
think
saying.
Musetti has played him tough in the past when Djokovic has been in his prime. So like I think if they the only time they would be able to match up here is in the final, which is very unlikely to happen. But like um yeah, I think this is a Djokovic that's like slightly below his prime and or like this is like 70% of his prime, I would say. And this is the best Musetti we've ever seen. And
Yep.
considering they've had tough matches in the past when Djokovic has been in his prime, I feel like it's kind of turned in the other direction.
I think it's fair take. I think it's fair take. I haven't had a whole lot to both sides you on to debate you on.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty fair take. Yeah, on clay, like on hard, I think Djokovic would. On any other surface, I
Oh
would still
yeah.
put Djokovic as a decided favorite. But I think on clay, yeah, I
I
think,
mean, different. I mean, if they played, in a best of five, like in a semifinal or final, like Mazzetti could get scared. Like that's
yeah, that's the problem.
very
That's the
possible.
problem. You have to, yeah,
So
yep.
yeah. Zverev looked really good against Kaboli, but I think this best of five format helps him. He has more time to kind of figure things out. Um, he's just a physical specimen, right?
Yeah,
Zverev.
I
So
also think Kaboli's a really bad matchup. I think that's a really bad matchup for Kaboli. Like, Zverev's base. We've talked about this before, and uh, a lot of people talk about this with Zverev. It's not just you and I, so it's not a particular. But this isn't a particularly unique take. But like Zverev's default is to hit from the baseline, and like he runs so well, he moves so well. He's such an athletic specimen. He served at like 77% first serve in today. Like
that's crazy. Yeah.
if you're doing that, like, and like, what's Kabuli? Like, Kabuli's only got two strategies: hit hard and hit harder.
Right, right, right.
So like, it's just a really tough time for him.
Yeah, he does what Zverev does, but Zverev does everything a little better, right? I felt
Yep.
like that was the same thing with Djokovic and Misalik today.
Yeah.
You know, it was the same with the Djokovic Nishikori matchup back in the early 2010s.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, those are tough matchups for sure. Um, talked about Zverev. I mean,
I think we hit the top guys, right? We hit Sinner briefly, hit Alcaraz briefly.
are you
Um,
making too much into this crazy performance against Lechka, or is just like you've seen it enough?
no, because again, it's another situation when like good matchup for Sinner, right? And another, I didn't see much of it. Like, did Lehechka
Yeah,
like get sad after he lost the first set and like,
he was despondent. He kept competing, luckily, but like he knew he was just getting beaten down so bad that like he was like, whatever, right? I'm just gonna like play my best, and it's just not gonna be good enough, right?
yeah,
With
like
Lechka, it's different when he plays like a Cam Nori or or like who was the guy you lost to in Rome that you were like
Echeverry.
Etcheverry. Exactly. Those guys he should be beating, right? So like
Yeah,
when he's missing balls and those guys are beating him, then he has that despondent look and he's like,
but he should be winning more than 3 games in 3 sets against Sinner.
yeah, agreed with that. Agreed with that. Gasquet won more games. So,
Right, right, right.
but
Like I just yeah,
I think Lechka, he didn't have that despondent look because he was just accepting that like he's just better than me. And like
yeah,
it was an easy thing to accept, right? When you're losing to Echeverry, it's harder to accept that, right?
yeah. I am just
He's just mentally soft.
anybody who's
I
a
mean,
Czech at this point. I'm pretty frustrated with.
yeah, which check are you more frustrated with?
Mahach. Because at least how do you say it? Because at least like I mean, this is another match that he had to retire, right? Either retire or gave a walkover. I don't even remember which.
Yeah, he retired against what was it?
First round, right? Yeah,
Of
Halise, a set
course,
and a half, and that was
Elise,
it.
right?
So I mean, this is just like this is ridiculous at this point. Like, what is that? Is that retirement number 7 in the past like
It is
12 to
ridiculous.
15 months?
I hope he
Like,
didn't get his prize money. I hope the French Tennis Federation like deemed it unprofessional. I really hope so. Like I'm like begging them, like please don't pay him
yeah, yeah.
because like it's just ridiculous. Like if you're not healthy enough to play, just don't play. And then you know if let your spot go to like someone ranked like 112 in the world that like has like worked his ass off to get a spot.
That's 7 retirements in the past 9 months.
That's insane. It's insane.
It's disgusting.
That's crazy. Yeah,
Like,
7.
it's legitimately disgusting. Like
Yeah.
like yeah. Like I get it. Like yeah, I get it. There's some illness and stuff, but it is yeah. I mean this yeah. I mean I'm guessing he was just too hurt. It had to be a carryover from Geneva, but like at this point he's like unplayable. Like from a betting perspective, how do you like every match that you look at with him is unplayable because he's a good player, but like you have to ask if the match is even going to complete.
Right, right. Well,
Like
I
the
got
only
some
thing you can do is fade him on a book that pays out retirements. And even then, a lot of retirements are first set retirements, so it doesn't matter anyways. He
right,
could
right,
pull the
right.
plug down a break in the first.
He could win the first set, lose the next, and then retire. Like you don't know when it's gonna come. And he doesn't sometimes he doesn't even call the trainer. He just like pulls the plug. He just I feel like he just doesn't feel like playing. I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's it's horrible. It's terrible. But I got some likes on the timeline when someone posted like Dimitrov now has it. I feel kind of feel bad for him. But the last four majors he's retired in.
yeah, I mean Dimitrov, but it also it feels like with him he's just too old to play anymore.
Right, right. So everyone's kind of giving him a pass. So I posted like I tagged the post and I was like, is Mahak next? And
Yeah.
I did get some likes, but I feel like I don't know. I feel like a lot of people like don't know who Mahak is.
Yeah, that's probably a fair comment. I mean, but I mean, honestly, so if we're gonna talk about guys, I mean, that makes six. That's six now for Dimitrov retirement losses in the past year, also.
Yeah, so if we're
So
gonna bash on Mahak, we kind of have to bash on Dimitrov too, right?
yeah, it's all the slams though, man. Like it's all the slams, which makes me feel worse for him because like
Sucks, yeah. It's four slam. What were the other two for Dimitrov?
Dubai against O'Connell and Brisbane. I remember the one with Brisbane against Lehechka because
Yeah.
I think I bet him to win that tournament. I think.
Hmm.
And yeah, no more betting Dimitrov to win tournaments.
Yeah.
Um, Sadly.
Yeah, I
Um,
feel bad for the guy. I mean, Mahak doesn't have as big of a track record as Dimitrov, right? Like Dimitrov has had a long career and um
yeah, I think and also Dimitrov's built up a reputation as being like a one of the best dudes on the tour.
yeah.
So I feel like I feel like with him it's a legitimate like I don't know. And like Dimitrov, like he was hurt, like that he was hurt that whole US Open run, and he made it all the way to the quarters.
Right.
So like how much are you gonna complain that like, you know, like he went out and he gave it what he could, you know? So that's how I felt about the US Open one. The other ones weren't as like good, quote unquote. You know, they were like worse
Yeah.
retirements, if
The
you will.
Wimbledon one, he made the round of 16, right? And did it against Medvedev, I think.
Yeah, and that was like during the match. Didn't he hurt himself during that match? I
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah, it was like late in the first set.
Yeah, so like that was, you know, what I mean. So it feels like it's been a little bit of like bad circumstance. Um,
In Australia, who was it against?
that was against some scrub, and he was like second set, Pissarro or something. Maybe not Pissarro, some Italian scrub.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I think it's not ideal.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. I still think Mahak's is worse. Like at least Dimitrov calls the trainer and like I feel like he's legitimately hurt. Whereas Mahak, sometimes I feel like he just doesn't want to be out there.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. I'm
Um,
very
it just seems very unprofessional the way he's doing it. Like I haven't watched all these matches, but like I saw the one in United Cup when he pulled the plug against Fritz. Was it? Did he pull the plug in that match at some point? Do you have it up?
against Fritz.
Yeah.
I don't think Fritz was one of the retirements.
He retired in the United Cup at some point, right?
Dimitrov?
No, no, no. Mahak.
Oh, the Hawk. Yeah, yeah, that was Fritz. Yeah, I
That
remember
was
that. Yeah,
Fritz,
that was
right?
Fritz. Yeah,
So
yeah.
he won the first set. I think it was 7-6.
And just like froze mentally. Yeah.
And then second set, he was up, I think, up a break. He was up 6-5, right? Serving for the match. And he got broken, right? And he basically choked. Fritz won the tiebreak, right? And then he played like two games in the third and just like walked off the court.
Yeah.
Didn't call the trainer. His teammates were like, "What the fuck?" Like
Yeah.
it was the most weak retirement I think I've ever seen. And yeah, this is horrible. This is horrible.
Yeah, well, those team events have produced a few of those. Not a lot. For the most part, the players take
Yeah.
them pretty seriously, but the occasional one. I guess the tour provides a few of those moments too. I wanted to get into kind of like a, I don't know, like a real or fraud game with you with some of these other guys. I think we've talked about all the
All right,
top guys
cool.
now.
Yeah.
Rublev, real or fraud?
Fraud.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Complete fraud.
And he's gonna
I
get
mean,
absolutely destroyed by Sinner in the next round. Like,
yeah,
if we
I
thought
agree.
Lechko was a bad matchup, I mean, this is the exact kind of like player profile that like Sinner just absolutely destroys.
Yeah, even his wins, two tie breaks. You need two tie breaks against Adam Walton on slow clay. Like Adam Walton doesn't even care to be there. Like the only reason Adam Walton won a match, he's got paired against Martyr in the first round, has been
Yeah.
nothing. I mean, I guess Martyr did qualify,
I
but
liked John's post on the timeline that he said that the simultaneous declines of Tsitsipas, Rublev, and Medvedev have to be studied. Like I feel like we have to take it into a lab and like dissect it. Like what's going on with these three guys?
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. I think I think you actually take him individually. Honestly, I don't think they're necessarily the same. So I think Tsitsipas is just mental burnout. Like I can't imagine, man, having to deal with all the drama for just year after year.
It must be exhausting.
And then the comment, and I also think it's probably too something where like, you know, I think at some point, and you made this post, and I think you're part. So, I think that getting destroyed by Alcaraz
Oh yeah, that.
told Tsitsipas that what he had at that moment
Hmm.
wasn't close. I think he realized that he wasn't close anymore to being the top guy.
Hmm. That was his realization, right? That match.
Right. And we've seen him over the past year and a half try all kinds of goofy stuff. Remember the Australian Open? He was trying like going to pinpoint serve versus platform, different rackets, like
Well,
different
he
like
changed his racket for Dubai, won the tournament, and now he's back to his old stick.
right,
Which
right,
is just like why? If that
right,
racket made a difference and like gave you some extra pop on the ball, like why wouldn't you stick with it?
right. But then like we saw the weird scheduling last year,
Yep.
so like it just feels uh it almost feels like desperation. Like he's trying to find that thing that's going to get him there to become like the top guy. And I don't know that it exists.
Probably
Like I
doesn't.
don't, what I mean? Like the real answer is going to be like hit the backhand better.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I said if you gave Federer or Nadal like a Walmart racket, like they still smoke our ass,
Yeah,
right? It's the same thing with Sissipas. Like sometimes you just have to get better. Like you can try to look for all these solutions, but it doesn't work. Like you're just not good enough. Plain and simple.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, and I think he also like back in the day, like in that era before we had Djokovic and Sinner come up, like not Djokovic, Alcaraz and Sinner come up, like the like Djokovic in some ways felt more beatable, I think, than Sinner or Alcaraz do. Because like Djokovic's peak, like Djokovic was like very like steady, like great, like steady, awesome level. Yes, he played some fantastic times, especially on defense and with the stretching. Like he played some fantastic defense, but like I think he always felt more beatable than Sinner or Alcaraz do when they're on. Especially Alcaraz.
Yeah, when Alcaraz is playing at his peak, he's just like totally unplayable, right? Because he's just this is just
And
ridiculous.
I think Sinner, with how good his ball striking now, especially in his defense is, like, I think he's pretty close to that, honestly. When he's not missing, like what do you do against that level of ball striking?
Yeah, it's tough, but like Sinner's not going to produce that every time. Like I feel like Djokovic's base level, that's why he's the GOAT, is because his base level is
A
higher than
1,000%. He still is the GOAT, and you're 100% right. And his tactics were so good, his base level was so high,
right.
100%.
Like Alcaraz's base level is still way lower than Djokovic's base level. Like even at this moment, you can or like Alcaraz is we saw it at the Australian Open, right? Like I don't think either guy played great, but Djokovic's base was better than Alcaraz's, and that's why he won that match.
Right, right, right. But I feel like if you're a player, like if you're a player and you're playing against a guy with an insanely high base level, they probably feel more beatable. You're like, okay, I just have to go out and play like an A level match for 4 hours, right? I just have to do what Wawrinka did at the French Open, right? Like at least there's like a believable path.
Okay.
Whereas like
No,
these,
I think the contrary. When there are more ups and downs, I feel like you have to stay the course. And if he plays at his peak for one set, you can think, oh, he's not going to maintain that for three sets. And when he dips, I have to capitalize.
okay,
Whereas with Djokovic, like there's no dip. So if you're getting beaten down with his base level, and like I think Center is the closest to that, right? Because he's so steady, right? So like Alcaraz to me is still the like you compare Alcaraz and Center with Djokovic in his prime, I still think Alcaraz is the most beatable because his peak may be the highest, but if you have those ups and downs, you can capitalize on one of those lull periods.
I don't disagree with that take. I'm just saying I feel like I don't know if I was a player, I don't think I'd feel very comfortable like hoping that a guy regresses. I feel more comfortable playing against Djokovic than either of those other two guys. I don't necessarily think it'd be easier to win. I just would probably feel more comfortable.
It's an interesting take. It's an interesting take. Um, I,
Mm.
I I don't know. I think there's something so mentally straining playing a guy that's just not going to miss. Like with Alcaraz, you can extract misses, like Zoomer did it, right? Late in the third, early in the fourth, right?
Yeah.
For tactics and stuff, right? With Sinner, you can get to that point where physically he might start feeling a little off, right? But with Djokovic, there was no real blueprint to get him off his game when he was in that like lockdown mode, right? Like,
Yeah. I'll go back and say like if I was a player, like if I was Tsitsipas, I would at least feel like I can attack him. Like at least I like Djokovic, I can attack him and you
mm.
know, like it was actually probably a decent matchup for him too. Right?
Oh,
Because like
for
Djokovic,
Sissipas, yes, I agree with that. Like it's
so I think that's Tsitsipas. Um
okay.
Rublev, I think Rublev is probably just more mental. I think that's another one where it's like a probably a mental burnout thing too. I think just like the mental issues, just like
Yeah, I mean the difference between Rublev is that he burns himself out, whereas Sissipas, everyone around him is who's burning him out.
right, right, right. Rublev, I think it's just probably just internal pressure, and I think it's a combination of that and like look like he never has he ever made a slam semi? Right, he's
No,
lost in the
I think
quarters every
he's
time. So
0-11 in quarters.
so like sure, there's been a decline, and I also don't think the Rublev decline has been as bad. Like I agree, he's worse, no doubt. But he's still like he still won one Masters each of the past 2 years. Like, I don't know. I feel like for a player of his caliber, like he's not like I think he's still a top 20 guy. And what was he before? Like 5 to 10 constantly? You know, he was 5-10 in the rankings for like I feel like 4 years in a row and like never left that area. And now he's maybe like, like 15 to 20. Like I don't feel like it's been as precipitous of a decline. I think it's two things from him. I think it's partially the mental, and he's talked about that, right? And it feels like that's gotten worse.
Yeah.
And then I also think like he's so limited. And yes, he always was. But again, you get a few of these guys who are like, like you get an Arthur Fees who comes up and is like now clearly more athletic. And these guys are getting better and better at like being able to also hit big and play defense. And now Rublev has nothing else. Like for Rublev, it was always like, okay, I can hit bigger than everyone, right? That was the thing.
Right.
It was like I go on the court, I'm the biggest hitter. I have nothing else, but I'm the biggest hitter.
Yeah.
And I feel like these young kids coming up, and like maybe it's just because I don't remember the guys like from 3-4 years ago, but I feel like we've seen like a slew of young big hitters come up in the past couple years. So, just going through the rankings, like, we've seen the rise of Draper, big hitter, right? I think we would say Draper's a big hitter off both wings.
Yeah.
Certainly Feast. Certainly Mensick.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly Kaboli. That's Lehechka. Like that's 6 guys. Like,
Yeah.
we're seeing more and more guys now who he gets in that matchup, and he's not the biggest ball striker. So like now, what does he do? Right? Like, so I think it's just I think that's Rublev.
Really
I think Medvedev is the hardest one to figure out. Like Medvedev, I don't get. I mean, I guess I do, because when you see him play, like I don't know, it's just like
he's so like he used to be so much better tactically, I feel, and so much more mentally more composed. I feel like John posted it on his timeline. I thought he was spot on. He had a really good take on him in terms of just being just so mentally like flustered all the time and kind of accepting of the fact that he's just unable to find a solution instead of actually looking for one. Whereas,
yeah,
right, like in the past, he used to like if he would struggle, he would kind of problem solve and figure out a way to deal with it. But if you're going to be underpowered, you're only hitting in the center of the court and you're not adjusting your tactics. Like, what do you have? You know what I mean? Like, you got nothing.
That's the problem. Like he's not like I mean, like if you're gonna be the way Medvedev used to play, like to play that strategy and win, you have to be so good at it.
Right.
You have to be almost perfect. And like he used to be like
He used to be perfect at what he did.
also honestly, like it's also, man, like the defense isn't where it used to be. Like
It's
he's not running down balls the way he used to run them down, like you wonder, I mean, how old is Medvedev now? Medvedev is
29.
Where is he in the rankings now? Has he fallen that far?
He's like 14 now.
Yeah, he's 11. Yeah,
11.
he's 29. You're right. He's 29. So, like, I mean, look, we've seen guys like I think we get a little bit spoiled when we see these guys like Djokovic, Nadal, and these guys are also like the goats of the game. You know what I mean? Like to retire, at I don't know, something in like the 29 to 30 range, like that's not, I mean, I don't want to say it's common, but it's not that rare.
Mhm.
Like it's And I feel like, for a lot of these guys, they come up. I mean, I don't think it's that uncommon for a guy to come up, have a few, have 3 good years, and that's all that's in the tank. So
I
that would be
also
my guess with
I also
Medvedev.
feel like he used to win so many more free points on serve, right? And like
Well, the serve is gone. That's the weirdest thing is the serve is
it's
not
totally
nearly as good as it used to be, and I don't understand that either.
yeah. I mean, at the end of last year, you thought it was a shoulder. You still think it's a shoulder?
Could be. I mean, it could be like it could be a chronic shoulder. No, I mean, it could be a chronic shoulder problem at this point, right? Where it's just like the shoulder's done. Like, I mean, what else would it be? Like, because it's very, very rare
Yeah, the
for a
serve
player
is
to
just all.
decline on specifically the serve, right? Is usually the thing that's the last to go.
Yeah. I mean, his composure on the court also has just like been so off as well. Like, I think he was up 5-2 in the first set against Nori, and then he just completely lost it. And he had like no idea what to do. He lost like 8 games in a row after that. All right, apologies for the technical mishaps, but we're back on.
Yeah, I think
So
we killed that Medvedev. But it was a good discussion. That's why I always like these recaps. Our discussions always go in like so many different directions that we even really like plan or expect. It's
definitely.
one of kind of the unique things of our podcast. It's just like two dudes talk about tennis. Um, but yeah, I wanted to continue with other guys who kind of made the fourth round surprises. Bublik. What do we think about Alexander Bublik?
Good one. Man, I'm gonna stick with fraud, but like the guy has incredible talent. And I think that can't go understated. That's why on the timeline I posted my racket talent power rankings. And I think Sasha Bublik is in that group, just pure racket skills, right? Not tennis players, not results, just ability to do something with the ball out of nothing. And I think he's in the top 6 or like 7 of guys that I can think of.
Yeah,
Between
yeah.
Federer, Kyrgios, Alcaraz, Musetti, Dimitrov, like he's in that mold of guys that like he just has insane ability to just create something out of nothing.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
agree with your first take. I'm in between here, man. Like, is it the most impressive run to the fourth round of a slam of all time? No, it's not. I mean, he beat Roca and Duckworth. The Roca's a qualifier, and Duckworth is probably worse than a qualifier.
Fair.
Um,
I mean, it's just a Demonor match, right? Like coming back from 2 sets down and then like Demonor complaining that the schedule is too long afterwards. Like I posted that like I felt like Demonor became Bublik that day and Bublik became Demonor that day. Like that's what it felt like to me.
yeah, it is weird. It is weird to hear Demon Art. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I felt like Demonor was kind of out of character there. Like he never loses that match, A. B, he never like complains afterwards. C, like I don't like hearing that the schedule is too long because you have the right to take off weeks during the season. And it's been like this for years. Like you got to find a way to deal with it. Like you're a professional tennis player and you make it work to the best of your ability. Um, and yeah, I mean, Bublik did play a great third, fourth, and fifth sets, but it was shocking, and I was dumbfounded what I saw there.
Yeah, I look, I mean, I think there's something with Bublik specifically that like he figured out like how to compete to win 3 matches in a row on clay. And
Mm-hmm.
like I think there's versions of Bublik that wouldn't have done it.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I know there are. You know what I mean? Because like I mean, Bubba, he went in Australia, he went out in straight sets to Cerundolo. Like,
Right, but
and
that's the thing. He's capable of beating anyone just based on his pure racket talent, right? And for him, it's just about mentally kind of putting it together and like being, you know, present.
right, and but that's the point. It's like, but like, look, he was present, and he's been present, honestly, like pretty much, like for a good part of this play season. It does look like he did realize his ranking slipped a little bit, and that he had to go get it back. And
Right.
I think, for that, like, good on him. Like I said, I'm in between because it's like, is it the most impressive run to a fourth round of all time? No, it's not. But he won a challenger. Like, he went, and I know it was at altitude in Turin. He won a challenger on red clay.
Yeah, I mean, and then he went to Phoenix and made a final there, right?
Yeah,
Like, whereas
like,
we were thinking, oh, he's just gonna mail it in and go to Miami, right? Like that's
yep,
what we were thinking, and he's proven us all wrong. Like he's made us all laugh. So he's kind of been a pro, but is he being a pro because he knows that his ranking is slipped and he needs points to keep that ranking so he can collect checks? Or is he being a pro to actually be a pro? That's my question.
right,
And I don't
right.
have the answer to that.
I think he is he a recent father, like with like in the past year or two.
I have no idea.
3 years ago. But he has a 3-year-old kid,
Okay.
so perhaps that is, that might be motivating. He needs to bring that paycheck home for his kid, man. Kid got to eat. Diapers are expensive.
They are expensive. Well, at 3 years old, he should be starting to get potty trained.
That's true. So we might see people start tanking again pretty soon because
Yeah, exactly. That might be a
yeah,
for his tanking.
that might be the end. But
Handicap.
yeah, I
Uh,
thought
backing
I thought
Bublik because he no longer has to pay for diapers.
yeah. Um Cam Nori next up on the list. Cam Nori.
This is a really tough one. Um, uh, you go for this one. What do you say? I have no idea.
I think so, man. I think I think so. I think, and granted, I didn't
But you think
see.
he's real or you think he's a fraud?
I think he's more real than he was the past 4 months, or I would say all of 2024. Like, if we, like if we look now, right, like just results wise, like made the final of Mets. Was Mets a strong tournament? No, it was an end of tier tournament that everybody skipped because they were done with the season, and the top 8 were qualified in once Djokovic said he wasn't going to play. But he still made the finals of a tournament, and there's something to be said there when you're in a when you were where Cam Nori was. Has won some matches this season, not a ton, but has won some matches. And now he shows up he shows up, makes a semi of Geneva, loses to Djokovic. And now he's won. I mean, I don't know. He's beaten, like, look at the guys he's beaten, like Medvedev. Gomez is a good challenger player. Um, and Fernley, like, yeah, they're not world beaters. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not ready to say he's like top 10, but like, I don't know. I think like relative to where he was, this is pretty good.
So where I struggle with this is like I actually had Nori in my power rankings as an honorable mention, my top 20 power rankings. So we've seen him play at a top near a top 10 level, right? He won Indian Wells. We've praised him for being one of the stronger tactical players on the tour a couple of years ago, right? Like remember he beat
Yep.
Alcaraz in Cincinnati.
Yep.
Like I struggle because he hasn't shown that level for a while now, but can he get that back? I don't know. And he's shown like, a couple good wins at the French doesn't obviously get him back to that level necessarily, but it's a path in the right direction. Now, like how far can he drive in that direction before it turns around?
Right. 100%.
And I don't think he can get all the way back there, but I think he can get a little bit closer than he is now.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right? Like,
I think that's a good take. I mean,
Mhm.
not really a strong take either way, but I think it's a good take. Um, this will be a good one. TFO.
Yeah, it's funny because DB on his pod, they're like, we were who you thought we were segment. You know? Like they're
Yeah.
talking about that. Man, Tiafo. Like, are you talking Tiafo on clay or you're talking like Tiafo in general?
We can go in general. That's fine.
I don't know how much I make of this run. Like he beat Korda, he beat Carreno Busta, and he beat Safulin.
Yeah.
Like Korda is a fraud. If you want to like start there, we can, if you want to play fraud or real with Korda, that's an easy one. But with Tiafo, he really should be beating those three guys, in my opinion. Like, so I think this run is like he's done what his ranking said he should do, in my opinion. So if he goes one further and beats Altmaier and makes a quarterfinal, okay, good run. Good, like good on you. But if he loses, I'd be like, it's pretty average. It's nothing like it's okay, but it's nothing special. Like it's not horrible, but it's not good either. Right? And athletically, he's talented enough to beat these guys. So like why aren't you? Like why are we impressed that you are? Is my question, right, with him. Like I
Yeah, it would
think
just be
everyone is
because
like,
of
oh, he made a fourth round of a French. He's never good on clay. Like this is amazing. But like athletically, he has the ability to do that. So why are we impressed?
yeah. I think that's a solid take. Yeah, I guess I was gonna go like I think he was like 40 or 50 to 1 to win this quarter. And when I looked at and I'm kind of pissed at myself because when I looked at it originally and I priced it up myself, I had him like much closer like 25 to 30 to 1 to win the quarter. Um,
And we were
but
all
then I
on
looked at how
Komasana.
bad he had been at the French and I shied off because of that and picked Komasana instead.
Yeah. All right, we're back. A few technical glitches again, but what about Tiafo?
Yeah, so I mean I think I said like I was pissed that he I when I priced this up originally, I had TFO more like a 25 to 30 to 1 to win this quarter because I could see this coming, but then I saw the record at the French and shied off. I thought it was a very square move of me. And I'm annoyed at myself. Like I'm not annoyed because like now I'm watching him make this run. I'm annoyed because I saw this coming and like and came up with some very poor reasoning to not make the bet. Um Yeah, because I think he's like I said, I think it was like 40 to 1 or 50 to 1 to win this quarter. And but
Hmm.
like you look at it, it's not even like there wasn't even a major upset in this draw. Like the upset, I guess, was Busta beating Komasana, but that wasn't like that was
And it was
feasible. That
all
wasn't anything
Altmaier being
ridiculous.
Fritz.
What?
Altmaier being Fritz, but like that's not really an upset either.
Right? Well, no, I mean, but Tiafoe would have made the fourth round, Like then he would just be playing
Oh
Fritz in
yeah,
this round, not
right.
Altmaier, right? So like, it's not, like, yeah. And I didn't like, yeah. So yeah, it's frustrating for me because of that. But yeah, I
Well,
don't.
I actually think if Comasanya beat Carreno Busta, it would have been a way tougher matchup for Tiafo.
Oh, completely agree. Completely agree.
So like I don't necessarily think we made a wrong bet because like we both expected Comasanya to beat Carreno Busta,
Yeah.
you know? And Carreno Busta was just like he was good. He was solid in the match, like he kind of always is, but Comasanya played a poor match.
Yeah.
So I'm not like beating myself over it. Um we probably should have played both, honestly. Like someone in
Yeah.
that top,
Yeah.
like that top little section and the bottom little section too, with a quarter that or like a section that wide open. Like
Yep.
we should,
Yep. Yeah. Should have just scattershot it, and just,
yeah,
yeah.
played a couple guys.
Yeah. And then, then again, obviously, then you hope that, I mean, look, the problem is that that's the Musetti quarter, right? So one of them's still going to have to beat Musetti.
Yeah,
Either
but
him
if
or
you have a
Omar would have to
40 to
play.
1 going into a quarterfinal and I don't care who they play.
Yeah. Honestly, the bigger issue is that it's Musetti Rune. So whoever wins TFO Altmaier's in big trouble either way.
If they play they would better shot against Holger.
I
Just
would agree with that better, but I don't think they're like particularly live. I don't know. I think it's gonna be tough either way.
either of those guys should be a favorite, but
I mean, look, Holger's thrown away matches before. I'll agree with you on that.
yeah. But he tends to retire or like throw those duds in early in the event, more so than late.
I would agree. I would agree. It's also like it's different, like dudding out and like throwing the match away completely versus like dudding out a set. Like he'll probably dud a set, but I would agree with that. It's yeah.
Yeah. Any other guys? Hamad.
Um, do I have any other guys? Let me think. I think that's. Oh, I guess we can end. I mean, this is always going down. It's just because of the height. But Ben Shelton. I mean, do we care that he beat Gigante in straights? I don't
No,
really.
absolutely not. He's gonna get absolutely destroyed by Alcaraz.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
Um, what about Hamad?
I don't particularly care. Like, I think it's another example of
I couldn't believe he was like a minus 200 favorite against Altmaier. Like that was such a misprice.
I agree, and we played Altmaier as GBM, but
I had 3 units on it. I was all over Altmaier.
he's so talented. Like Hamad, he hits the ball so well. Like it's but I hear you. Like there was always major physicality concerns, and that's
Major
what came to be.
after 3 games.
Well, I don't know if that was gas or if that was like ill. That had to be like he was ill or something. That had to be something.
I'll give you that he has such natural power. Like it's incredible.
Yeah.
Like he can hit through slow conditions like there's like no one business. Like he just taps the ball and it just seems like it goes flying. He has so much power, but he just has no stamina whatsoever.
Yeah, I would agree.
And I actually give him credit for finishing that match.
Yeah, I mean, at times it feels like he's trying to do the right things. He just hasn't developed the
Yeah.
the body yet. I mean, like that's the thing. Like even his body is behind versus some of these young kids coming up.
He's big
Um,
enough. He's just not fit enough, though. Like he's not tone. Like he
that's what
needs.
I mean. Like his body is behind in terms of like
Yeah,
he's
right.
not muscularly developed enough.
Yeah, he needs to hit the gym.
Yeah,
Like he needs to
Yeah.
do more off the court work than on the court
Yeah,
work.
that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
that's all I had in terms of recap. We can go ahead and start on the matches.
Sure.
Unless you have anything
I feel
else.
like we're missing a few guys.
I skipped a few. I skipped Greek sport. I didn't. I mean, I don't know. I didn't think that was particularly interesting.
Yeah.
Uh, skipped Holger. Didn't think that was particularly interesting. Skipped Altmaier. We just kind of talked about him a little bit, but I mean, he beat Fritz, but otherwise, I didn't think it was anything
Yeah.
interesting.
Talked about Popperin,
Skip.
Shelton.
Yeah, we talked about Popper a little bit and mostly skipped him. We'll talk about him more. I mean, he does have a match tomorrow in a
Right.
couple hours.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's get into the matches. So
Yeah.
let me pull up the lines here. It's been a great week, so I'm really hoping to continue. I know it's just gonna like crash at one point. I'm ready for it. I am ready for it. It's gonna be a day where I place like 8 bets and like I go over 8. So um so Popperin against Paul. I guess we'll start there. Paul's a 3-game favorite, minus 175 on the money line. Poppy is plus 145. The over-under is 39.5. So Paul has came through 2 5-setters against Kachanov and Fushevik. Popperin has been fairly impressive. He beat Borges in 3 tough sets. But that was a sweat. I had the minus 1.5 sets there. I didn't really enjoy watching that match, but it came through in the end. I think Popperin. I feel like some people have stolen this take, which I'm perfectly fine with. But like we've been saying for quite some time that Popperin prefers slow clay, where he has more time on the ball with his big swing paths. You
Yeah,
know,
I kind of changed my tone. I think he's and this is like I think it's I don't think slow play hurts him. Let me put it that way. Because I think
Mhm.
like whatever he loses by it being slower and harder and like the points being longer, he gains from having more time. Right? So I think it's like he's kind of an all quarter that like, and he's got a good serve. It doesn't help him as much on the clay. But again, like he also when he's on quicker courts, then he's rushed. So yeah, I think it's
And that's why I liked him against Nuno, because I felt like the sunny conditions helped his serve, but then also the ball bounces higher and it like loses some speed when it bounces, so he still has more time on the ball.
yep, yep.
But what's the weather tomorrow? That's like a big
I
thing.
would call it neutral. Other people might call it cool. It's like low 70s and cloudy.
Is it humid though?
Maybe. Um,
Yeah, it's 81% chance of humidity, so that's pretty humid. Um, the wind is pretty neutral. It's 4 mile per hour winds with 9 mile per hour gusts.
yeah, that's not really that's nothing.
Because when there's like a chance of precipitation, it tends to be more like damp in the air and like that slows it down a little bit.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's just cloudy. So I don't know. You have a play here?
No, I mean, do I think Paul is more than 3 games better than Popper as a tennis player? Probably, but there's an ab injury, and he's now played 14 sets in the last 3 rounds. Uh, so when you add those together, to me, this is a stay away. I think if you want to take a shot on Poppy money line and you want to do it somewhere that like where you can get where you win on a retirement, I don't think that's a terrible price. But I think I think the injury is somewhat baked in. Uh, so I won't play this match. No, I don't want anything to do with any of those props. I just don't. I feel like this is a really hard match. This to me is pretty true stay away because um yeah, I feel like Paul should theoretically be a bigger favorite, but then you have the physicality, which kind of goes the other way. So yeah.
Yeah, Poppy is really stable physically. Like he never really tires, I feel.
Well, he's had issues in heat in Australia. I want to say maybe not this year in 25, but back in 24. I think he had some issues. I think he played Nishioka and had some issues maybe in the heat.
I might play 5 sets here if I get a decent line. Do you see?
About plus 200. That's usually the standard line for your 5 sets.
Is that what you get on Bet Online?
I would bet. I think probably between like plus 190 and plus 210.
I don't like that. Let's see what I get here. Where's tennis? Yeah, plus 195. Ugh. Damn it. I was hoping for like, yeah, 200. Here you get you could get a juice 2.5. See, the thing with Paul is that like he's just like even when he's like fully fit, he's always live to lose sets.
Yep. Yep.
Right? Like this is not straight sets. Like it to me it goes 4 no matter what unless someone is hurt.
Yeah.
And then like you're
Unfortunately,
getting
the one that I actually kind of was looking at before that, the line that I was looking at before that I was kind of interested in is gone now. 40 and a half was I saw a 40 and a half at minus 115, I think, before, and under 40 and a half. That I think would be playable also. Oh, yeah, yeah. You see, now it's at 1 minus 125. That's a little too much. Um, yeah, I don't think I'm too interested at this point.
okay. I think I'm gonna dabble on the 5 sets. It's not a big play, but like or maybe Paul to win a set. Paul to win and both players to win a set seems a little interesting.
Yeah.
I might split the play both, play the 5 sets and play Paul to win and both players to win a set. That's where I'm leaning. Like I would lean Paul. It's just I don't really want to lay games because I also think like Paul might, if he's up 2 sets to 1, he might like mail it in for a set and then lose like a 6-1 set. You know,
Yeah.
this can go in so many different directions, but I just can't see either guy winning this in straight sets, no matter what. Like Poppy's also too erratic, and then he struggles when he plays with the lead. He really does. I've saw it multiple times against Nuno Borges. Like he served for it at 5-4, choked. Served for it at 6-5, choked. I think he had 6-3 in the tiebreak, choked. And then he finally won at 13-11. But like what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, and Paul does the same shit. So it's like, yeah. I'd be very surprised if it doesn't go at least 4. That's why I feel like there's value on that 5 set line. But you're right, Paul's the better player. So if he's healthy, he should win this match.
Yeah.
He should, just in terms of movement and everything else. But Shelton Alcaraz. So Shelton or Alcaraz is a 7.5 game favorite, but that's juiced at minus 135. The total is 31. I'm all over the under 31 here. I'd make it GBM as well if you want. I think this is actually a really, really good matchup for Alcaraz on this court. I actually think it's better than Zoomer in some ways because I think like Shelton's serve gets neutralized on the clay quite a bit, where Alcaraz is going to get into a lot of rallies. So I don't think his serve is going to be as potent here. Plus, Shelton donates, whereas Zoomer doesn't. And that's the difference between those two guys. So I don't take much stock in the fact that Marjan and Zoomer were able to take sets off Alcaraz, because I just think that this is a different matchup. It's kind of like how Rinderdeck did better against Sinner than Lehechka, right? Is Rinderdeck a better player than Lehechka? No, but the matchup actually kind of is slightly better there, I feel. So I think it's the same kind of case here.
Yeah. So I'm Shelton or pass here.
Really? Okay.
Shelton games, like that's 7.5 is just a lot of games, man. For a guy like, look, Shelton still has a good serve.
But that's what I'm saying. On this kind of court, it gets neutralized.
Um, little bit, but not completely, right? Like, Carlos would need to get multiple breaks in a set to cover this, to cover
Munar
7.
Munar beat Shelton 2-1 in Rome.
I mean, yeah, it could go very wrong, but the other piece of this is that Alcaraz does throw away breaks himself. Like,
Yeah, but Shelton does too.
okay,
Shelton donates just more than Alcaraz, actually. Like we talk about Alcaraz donating, but that's relative.
yeah, I mean, Shelton could definitely make some errors. That definitely, especially on clay, that could happen if he can't, because he won't probably be able to ace his way out of trouble as easily as he would on other courts. Like, there's clearly a surface edge to Alcaraz, but 7.5 games feels like a lot, man. Shelton's played Alcaraz tough, right? I think they've played twice. I think they've been pretty tough.
On a hard court in Montreal.
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying it's like it's, and I agree with you. Surface matters here, but I mean, to me, like if Alcaraz throws away 2 breaks, is he going to break Shelton? Like, and maybe he won't. Maybe he won't throw away any breaks. It could happen, but is he going to break Shelton 6, 7 times?
If you're gonna play Shelton, I would want a big plus number. So I'd like to play like a set 1 or something, or a set 2 even.
I I don't know. I don't know that you necessarily need that. Like, I mean, I think like Shelton has a good compete level. He's going to compete for all 3 sets.
That's true. That's true.
Alcaraz, ironically, does kind of get a little late. Like, this is also a matchup where Alcaraz could get, like, he could get into his, and we've seen it many times, like, he could get into more of that entertainer mode against Shelton, who's a good athlete and can create explosive athletic rallies himself. Like, I don't know, man. I think that, and like 7.5 is a high enough number of games. If Shelton does steal a set, Shelton's service game is good enough. You're probably not gonna Sheldon's service game is good enough that if he wins a set, he should be able to cover 7.5 games. I think that's what I'm thinking here.
All right, I'm on the Alcaraz side here. I actually also like the under 19.
I mean, look, Alcaraz, like we have seen him against guys like FAA, Musetti, etc. Like we have seen him when he sees like better guys, he does sometimes crack down and just like dominate, you know. And it's sometimes actually like the weaker guys that he struggles more with.
Yeah, I just think that Shelton has Alcaraz's respect, A, and B, I just think this kind of matchup profile on this kind of court just favors Alcaraz so much.
But I think that's built into the price, man. Like this is not going to be set. If this is the U.S. Open, it's not 7.5 games.
Oh, at the U.S. Open, this is probably what, like 4.5 or 5.5, and I'd probably back Shelton in that set.
Right, like that's the like that. So like it's baked in, right? Like it's baked into the line. The question now is it baked in enough? Maybe, maybe not. Right? That's always the debate. But yeah, I'm gonna be on Shelton games here. I've seen Alcaraz to me has not been steady enough to tell me that he can cover big spreads.
even on this court against a guy that donates himself. Like
Marjan donates too, and he took a set.
to me, covering 10.5 against Zoomer is more difficult than covering 7.5 in this because like I feel like Alcaraz is going to be able to get into so many rallies. I feel like he's going to be able to neutralize Shelton's serve. They're playing on Chatrier, which is a massive court. Alcaraz can stay back and he can just like once he gets the ball back in play, I feel like he has like a 65 70-30 edge in rallies.
I think 70-30 is a little insane, but
Like, all right, maybe 65-30. You know, it's probably a little bit of hyperbole.
he's got an edge. We'll agree he's got a very big edge. But I just go back to Alcaraz is gonna. I think he's gonna donate a couple. I think he's just gonna donate too much to cover the 7.5. I'll be.
Okay. So you're thinking this popcorn
7.5.
tennis?
I'm gonna hope that Shelton can serve well enough to cover that. So we'll have some popcorn tennis there.
Nice, nice.
It
All
could
right.
go very wrong. Like Alcaraz's peak level, like this could end up being 3-3-3 or 3-3-2. Like Alcaraz's peak level, this could go very wrong. But I just feel like we've seen more than once this season. Even going back to the other like we were talking about all clay season how Alcaraz has been donating here and there, whether it be game sets, etc., to guys that he shouldn't. So yeah, I'm gonna. I don't know. I think Sheldon can cobble together enough.
Okay, like to me, it's more like I don't think this should be much different than the other two matches, like against a Zoomer or like because he can donate against anyone to me, and like I don't think Shelton really like from the ground he doesn't really pose um many more difficulties than those guys would.
Yeah,
Wouldn't.
I mean the reason why is the serve, right? Like when you're up against when there's a guy with a good serve involved, the total goes up a little bit and the spread
Right.
comes.
And I just think Alcaraz will be able to neutralize it pretty easily. Like
Okay.
that's where my cap is, you know.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I mean, yeah. So
All right, Tiafo and Altmaier, Danny Alts. Tiafo's a -200 favorite, -3.5 on the money, 3.5 game spread, and over under 38. Uh I'm kind of torn on this match. Do you have a play here?
not at this price. If I had an account in exchange, I'd probably try to get Altmaier at like a 175 or a 180, and then I'd probably hit it, to be honest. Like this is really close to me to taking Altmaier, but it's not quite like TFO should definitely be a favorite. He shouldn't be -200. I don't see value there. Um yeah, there could be some value on Altmaier, but yeah, I'd probably want a little bit better than what's being offered there in order to play it. But it's
Mm-hmm.
close.
Yeah, this is a really tough match to cap too. What's the 5 sets here?
I mean, I think it's a little over 200. I think it's like 220 or something. Yeah,
220.
222.
That's interesting to me. The 5 sets.
Yeah, I think it's not a bad way to go about it.
Oh wow, they have ace and double fault props on these round of 16 matches. That's
They
crazy.
do. They do. They have
Damn.
the full
All right.
sets
I
up.
gotta do some more homework.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, from a qualitative perspective, like what do you expect in this match?
Um,
Like what kind of tactics do you think will be employed by you but by both guys?
I mean, think Altmaier's going to try to keep TFO in the back of the court and keep him from being aggressive, right? Which is like pretty standard tennis tactics. But I think Altmaier, like what kind of depth Altmaier can get, right? If obviously like the backhand can go awry for him, right? So that's another one. But yeah, I think that's going to be the key for Altmaier, and the key for Tiafoe is going to be the opposite. The key for Tiafoe, I mean, always, Altmaier's serve isn't great. Tiafoe should be able to, that plus a slow court, Tiafoe should be able to get returns, right? So that should help him. Also, I think like for Tiafoe, it's going to be, can he get into positions where he can attack Altmaier? Because I don't know. Altmaier is I don't have a very strong opinion of Altmaier in too many directions. I feel like he's a pretty he's a clay guy. He's got good forehand, backhand that can be really good. He can hit some really impressive one-handed backhands, but can also spray.
Yeah. Yeah, he's weird because I feel like there are matches where he can't find the court, and then there are matches where he's like actually bullying like a top player.
Yeah.
There's like no in between.
He can be really solid. I mean, he can be really, really, really good. I think. I think it's hard match to say a lot about, but I think I'll probably be on Altmaier here. It's always for me. It's Altmaier pass. I probably will stay away at the 165. But again, if you're on an exchange, you can get like 175 to 180. I think that's playable, and you probably could on an exchange. Probably get that filled.
In Jersey, you could get Profit X.
I actually do have Profit X. I can go on Profit X and see what I can get.
Yeah.
The problem with Profit X is like it's fine for slams, but at least
they have for all the other events too.
Oh, they actually okay.
They've added more. Yeah.
Let me hop on now and see what's on there. What can I get on Profit X?
Yeah, this is a really hard match to cap.
Yeah, I hear you. I kind of go back to I think TFO is a better tennis player. Obviously, Altmaier's the surface edge, but it's also why it's kind of like baked in and why I've got a line that is moderately close here.
Yeah, but I don't think Tiafoe's bad on clay.
I think he's worse on clay than on hard, though.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But he has a big service edge in this matchup.
True.
Have these guys played?
They have. Well, yeah, I was going to say.
Rome, it was a type 3 setter. Australia was a type 4 setter. 23. Yeah, I think I'm going to play the 5-set line at plus 222 on bet.
I think it's a decent play.
Yeah, I think that's going to be my play here. It's not a high confidence play. It would never be GBM worthy, but I think it's. I also might play Tiafoe to win and both players to win a set. That might be a play for me. All right, the match tomorrow that everyone's most excited for, Musetti and Rune.
This has to be a popcorn tennis because I'm going to be on Holger here.
Really? Money
line? I actually listened to Dave Berger. I listened to Berger's pod.
Yeah.
He basically is gonna. I have to credit him because he has the exact same thoughts as I do handicapping this match. Should Musetti be a favorite? Yes, 1,000% should be a favorite. Is Holger Rune under 40% to win this match? I don't see how. Yes. Like he's the better. Like he's more likely to win this match than Musetti is. He's also more likely to throw this match away than Musetti is.
But do you really think the talent gap is that steep? like we all always talk about Holger's talent relative to his results, right? And how he's kind of underachieved.
But okay, but look, he made the Indian Wells final, right? And he won Barcelona. So, like, how bad are the results this year on slow courts?
Yeah, but I could play the same game with Holger.
With Musetti, who played the same game.
Yeah.
Yeah, made a Monte Carlo final. Yeah, I like is Musetti should Musetti be favored? Yes, because Holger throws this away and Musetti does like if Musetti's gonna lose this, Holger's probably gonna have to beat him.
Yeah, but like you could say all these pro Holger things, like he's the one that won Barcelona and he's the one that beat Alcaraz over there. But like you can also play the same game with Rune. You could say he's the one that retired against Caboli and Borges, right? He's the one that lost to Nakashima 3 times in a row, right? Like there are a lot of like negative things about Rune, which I think
Well, fine, fine.
right?
I
He
like
lost to
I said,
Corentin Moutet, whereas
what?
he's the one that lost to Corentin Moutet in Rome. Whereas like we talked about Musetti's clay court season, and the only 2 players he's lost to have been Alcaraz and Draper.
Right. Like, could Holger throw this match away? 100%. In fact, it's probably 35 to 40% likely that Holger makes too many errors and loses this match because he makes too many errors. And then there's a segment at the time that Musetti actually outplays Rune because Musetti is actually a very good. He's actually is a very good clay court tennis player and beats him.
Mm-hmm.
I just think there's enough here to get like yeah. If you wanted to again, if you wanted to tell me that Musetti should be like a favorite, like if this is a pick, I'd be all over Musetti. This is a number play for me. I just feel like yeah, I can't have this wide. Like
Yeah, my numbers have
and
it
the
at
other
like
thing is like Holger
65
can
35.
what?
My numbers have this at like 65-35.
Yeah, we disagree. I mean, that's it. Yeah, I think
All
the
right.
line I actually like here better than anything else is probably Holger plus a set and a half. I also think the five, like you
You
also
got
could play this
plus
as
money on
a
that?
what?
Oh, minus 125. Ugh. Yeah, I mean, I hear you. I feel like Rune can get 2 sets and then be like, get kind of scared and tentative and like freeze up mentally, right?
Yeah, I mean, or just like not, or like how many good sets does he have in him, you know? But
I mean, I was gonna play I like 3.5 better. Now that it's 4, I don't like it quite as much. So I'm probably gonna play Musetti to win and both players to win a set. Like I don't think it's gonna be straightforward. Like Musetti did lose a set to Navoni, right? So, and I'm aware that Holger has that high ceiling. But I don't know. I just respect the way Musetti is opening up the court. He's serving bigger. He's playing at such a supremely high level. Like I think Rune is going to have to find his peak level to get through this match, and I don't like nothing has shown me that he can do that. Uh, Going 5 sets against Halis, does that really excite you?
well, I mean, no, and like no, it doesn't. But again, like he's a dog, right? Like that's why he's a dog. Like it's
Okay, to me, it's not quite enough.
all right. Yeah, I mean it's yeah, that this is I guess it's not gonna be popcorn because you don't want to lay four, but yeah, or you don't want to lay it.
Well, I'll lay 4 for the purpose of popcorn. I feel like we need some action on this match just because we disagree, right?
Yeah,
So I'll
yeah,
I'll play one. I'll play like 1 unit on the 4, and then my main play is gonna be the Musetti to win and both players to win a set at plus 155. I really like that.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm gonna look for a 3.5 elsewhere. Maybe I can find a better price.
Yeah, you might be able to, you might be able to find a 3.5.
Yeah. So, all right. I think John is also on Rune plus the over, right? Like a dog over combo.
That's probably at the standard plus 220 or so.
Mm-hmm. So your play is just Rune money line? What's
I
that?
actually think the room plus a set and a half better.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll probably play. I'm gonna play I'll play the room plus a set and a half.
All right, so then I'll play the Musetti -1. That sets -1.5. I'm not gonna pick games.
Perfect. There we go.
Okay, so we got the popcorn. All right.
Yeah. So 2 popcorn tennises tomorrow.
Yeah, no GBMs, but just popcorn.
Yeah.
So you're taking the games with Shelton, taking the under, and then Musetti and Rune. Taking the
Yep.
-1 set and a half, and you're taking the set and a half with Rune.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna be on the Paul Poppy. What did I say? Oh, Paul to win, but both to win a set and the 5-set line, and then I'm gonna be on the 5-set with the Tiafo Altmaier.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe play the Tiafo to win a set as well. I gotta see the pricing on that, but all right, Bublik and Draper. Bublik is a 7-game dog. Jesus Christ. uh, this is a really hard match to handicap because, like, if Bublik shows up, like, he could theoretically make this competitive, but like, I still have though, like, he's been really good at about showing up, but like, there have been times when he hasn't. Like, he got whipped by Mensick, and I was like sitting front row there.
I actually think this is like I think this is a bad matchup for Bublik, man. Like
Mm-hmm.
Draper's shown so much solidity. Like he's shown more solidity that like that forehand that he hits that with the RPMs, like that's really hard to just crush. Like, can Bublik do it? Yes. Can he do it consistently? I would bet against that. Um,
How does Bublik fare against lefties?
Good question. I'm looking it up.
He does have a big pocket. Like, I think it's going to be easier for him to hit through the backhand with that with Draper's heavy forehand. The thing which is going to be really challenging for him is executing touch shots off that ball.
I
Right?
mean, I think executing anything's gonna be hard because like the thing is like Bublik's not gonna want to hit like a normal like Bublik's gonna want to try to like flatten out and crush it for a winner. We saw Fonseca have massive issues with that today. That's like the understated part of that Fonseca Draper match today, at least a little bit that I saw is Fonseca was just going for like way too much, way too early in rallies, and Draper's ball was too good to do that against.
That's a good point. That actually might be a test kind of run for this match because like Bublik is probably going to do the same thing that Fonseca did.
Yeah, Bublik last 52 weeks against left-handers, 4-4. Beat Gigante, Palomero, Mute, and Kopfer. Lost to Humbert, Shang twice, and Shelton. So I don't see anything super special there.
So what's your you like the under 33.5?
Yeah, I mean they're all the same. Yeah, I think I like or like what's Draper 3-0? It's probably the same thing.
-110.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to shop around for what my favorite line is, but I'm tempted to back Draper here, man. Like,
I,
I
I
know it's a big, I know it's a big line, but I think this is a bad matchup for Bublik, and it's one of those things where like if Bublik falls behind, it could get ugly.
Right.
I know he went down 2-0 against Demon and came back, but I think that it'd be way harder to come back against Draper, ironically, than Demon.
That's why I prefer the under 33.5 slightly, because like if Bublik pulls out the first set 6-3 or something, and then Draper wins the second 6-1, you could theoretically get there with a 4-set under.
Well, you would still cash your 7.5, your 7-game spread in all those
That's
situations
true.
too.
That's true. Yeah, if it gets ugly, you always prefer the games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. I just fear it's gonna move. Like I have a feeling this total is gonna become like 31, well, probably 32 by match time.
It could. It could.
So yeah, you convinced me on that matchup side with the heaviness of Draper shots. Zverev and Greek Sport. I feel like we've watched this movie time in and time out. With these two guys.
What's over 3.5 sets? That would be my play here. I mean, with these numbers, it should be pretty good. It should be better than -150, I would think.
Minus 125.
Yeah, that to me feels like the play. That's probably where I'll end up.
It's very public-y though. It's very like everyone is going to be on that. I
I
feel
know. I know. It's very
everyone,
public.
and that
Yep.
scares me a
It's
little.
very public-y. And I do think that Zverev is like, I don't love using the head-to-head, but like, I mean, Greek Sport will attack Zverev. Zverev is game to look. Zverev lost a set to Dijon. I know completely different player types than Greek Sport, but I actually think Greek Sport is a tougher opponent for Zverev. Like Greek Sport is going to attack him. Zverev won't be able to just hang out in the back and win the match that way.
Yeah, Munich. I mean, Munich had a little bit of altitude, right?
Right, which is better for Greek Sport, but I mean, like this isn't saying that like I think Greek Sport is going to win, right? Like I think the most likely
Yeah.
result here is 3-1 Zverev.
Okay.
Um,
So if you play the over 3.5, if you play over 3.5 on Bet Online, it's minus 120.
it's a little better. Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty good, man. I feel like that's a pretty good price.
So then plays Zverev. Yeah, I mean
For what's essentially Greek Sport to win a set.
it is. Yeah. So what's if you want to play Zverev 3-1? That's plus 220. Yeah, that's not very good.
I mean, that's the standard, right? Like pretty much every.
I've seen plus 235. I would want like plus,
It's usually in that range. It's usually in the 210 to 250 range.
What if you play like Zverev over 20.5 or well, it's over 20, it's minus
They're
125.
all the same, right? Like the only way you're getting, I mean, like this Zverev over 20 is probably slightly better because I guess you get a push on 7-7-6.
Right. Which is possible. These guys tend to play long sets.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible.
It scares me. It's just such a public play. Like everyone's gonna be on that. And like I know it doesn't really mean anything, but it's
No, I mean like the yeah. Yeah. I hear you. Like the problem is like Zverev is a much better clay court than Greek Sport.
he is. And
Uh,
I feel like the match last year happened during the day, right? So I gotta see when this match is scheduled.
okay.
If the match is like nighttime or like early evening when it's cooler, I think Greek Sport is going to have a hard time generating holes.
I would strongly doubt this is going to be night. I mean, maybe it'll be the fourth. It could end up being the like,
Well, it could
unless
be
it's being the
fourth on the
fourth
long
match
one.
on Longland. But like, I would think this is going to be a. I don't think it's will be the night session match. I would think that would go to Alcaraz Shelton. Or no, wait, they play tomorrow. What am I talking about?
Yeah, no, these guys play on.
Yeah, this is no. You're right. This is a day later.
I mean,
Yep.
what do you think
They
the
play in
schedules?
the session. I still would think we go to Sinner Rublev or Nori Djokovic before Zverev Greek Sport, but I could be wrong.
I agree. Bublik Draper is definitely going to be on Longland, and I would say Sinner Rublev will be. Sinner Rublev will probably be the night match.
That's what I would think, just because it's two names.
Yeah, yeah.
Or Nori Djokovic could end up being the night match too. It's hard to say. I think that's pretty close.
Yeah, but they usually don't give two in a row, right? Like
That's
yeah.
true. That's true.
So Djokovic minus 950, Nori plus 600. This is a really tough match.
I mean, I need to see spreads here. I guess the set spread. What's the set spread?
Do they have it on? Yeah, they don't even have it on Bet Online yet, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it'll take a minute. You know what I mean? Like there, yeah,
Right, right.
yeah.
3-0 Djokovic minus 130. Did these
Well, there
guys?
you go. So the over 3.5 sets is minus 105. I'll probably end up staying away. That feels pretty right. The question being, can Nori take a set? That feels pretty right. They just played 3 sets in Geneva, and Nori had to win a tiebreak to steal one. So
Right. I mean, he has an extra shot to do it here, right?
right, right.
Yeah, and then Sinner and Rublev. I mean, it's an 8-game spread, which seems right, but this is such a great matchup for Sinner.
I know, man. I know, but
I'm leaning laying the games or taking the under here, even.
the under 34, the under 30.5 looks pretty interesting, to be honest. Like, that's probably how I would play it.
Isn't it crazy that we're talking about Rublev like this?
I know it is, but
Insane.
this is such a bad matchup for Rublev.
Like I feel like this could be another 1-1 in love.
It could be,
Like
yeah. It
what
absolutely
does
could be.
Rublev do any different than Lehechka? You started the show by
Nothing,
saying that Lehechka
nothing,
hits bigger than Rublev.
nothing. They're the same guy at this point, to be honest.
Right, Rublev like competes but get
I mean,
mad.
Lechka's better than that. Lechka's better than that. Like, just because Rublev is so bad coming in,
Yeah.
but
But in terms of mentals, they're also the same way. It's just
yeah,
they self-destruct in different ways. Lechka just has this
yeah,
ridiculous despondent look on his face, and Rublev just starts beating himself up.
yeah.
I think I'm going to be on the under 30.5 here.
I don't hate it. 4-4-4, you get there.
Ooh, under 19 is minus 115. And you get the push if one set goes deep.
I mean, it's the same thing as the under games, right? The under 30.5. Like, unless you're looking like a 7-5,
True, true.
unless you're looking at 3-1 break sets, but in that case, you kind of just lose anyways.
Wow, 3-0 is minus 175. Jesus. I'd
Yeah, I
much
mean,
rather.
it's not surprising, right? Like with the when we saw the spread, it's an
Right.
8-game spread. That's usually what it correlates to roughly. All right, so for tomorrow, I think it's pretty clear, right? You're on we got two popcorn tennises. We've got Brad's on Rune plus a set and a half, Manny's on Musetti minus a set and a half, and then the other
Yep.
one, Brad's also got the dog Shelton with the games, and Manny's got the under 31, which is basically the same thing. So yeah, two matches, both of us opposing each other. I've got the two dogs, Manny's got the two favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Should be interesting times.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll be good. And then I think we're both going to be in the Bublik Draper under. I got to think about Zverev Greek Sport some more, but I like that angle. I just am iffy on it. And then Sinner Rublev, I'm probably going to be on the under 30.5. most likely. It's really a poor. Besides Mazzetti Brune, like there's no match I'm really excited for.
It is a pretty poor card.
Like once we get to the quarterfinals, it's going to be awesome. With
Right. Well, and that's kind of like what we would talk about at the beginning, especially the French Open, because it's clay. Like it's just very chalky.
yeah, very very chalky. But it's good for our futures. I have some like crazy future bets that are really really live. I have obviously the GBM Sinner Draper
Yeah,
quarterfinal. That's looking fantastic right now. I have the Sinner Alcaraz final at plus 240. I have the Sinner, Djokovic, Draper, and Zverev all to reach the quarterfinals at 16-1.
that's pretty good. That is very, very, very. That's actually very, very good. That is a very astute bet. That was a smart play.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I hope it cashes. I mean, there's
Yeah.
risk, but like I'm really liking that. I also have the Alcaraz Sinner, Djokovic, Musetti quarter parlay at 18-1.
Okay.
We have the Sinner GBM play of the to win the tournament at plus
Yep.
250.
Yep.
And I have Draper at 40-1 and Musetti at
And
40.
Musetti, yeah.
So I'm really liking the way this tournament has shaped out so far.
Yeah, I mean, there's a long way to go, right? Like, there's going to be some very like these guys are all going to get some tough tests coming up,
Yeah.
right? Like that's the way thing. Like with it being so chalky, the quarters are going to be tough. Like I think like the only guy that's
Yeah, he's
Musetti,
gonna play Tiafo or Altmaier.
yeah. So Musetti's got a pretty good path, and well, if he can beat Room, but his test just comes around earlier, and then yeah. I guess Carlos's path is pretty clean too, because Paul or Popperin is pretty for Carlos on clay, that's pretty clean.
Zverev disrespected Musetti by saying, "Oh, it's gonna be Alcaraz in the final." Like Zverev just shits on Musetti.
He did. However, I think it's an interesting window into that the players probably don't feel like Musetti's quite earned the right to be talked about as a top 5, top 10 guy yet.
Fair, fair, but I also think Zverev disrespected him in Rome when he said, like, "Oh, he just wins points on everyone's mistakes." Did
Yeah,
you hear that?
yeah. I mean, clearly Zverev is not the biggest Musetti fan. I
He's not
get it.
impressed.
Like I disagree, but I
Yeah,
understand the take. I disagree with
I
it, but
strongly disagree. I strongly disagree. Yeah. No one's impressed by you either, Zverev. With the most athletic ability who has yet to win a slam because you're
yeah,
soft as hell mentally.
yeah.
Like, there's nothing to be impressed by you either. So, you both are slamless. You and Musetti. So, all right. So that does it. Fun round of 16 pod. We'll probably be back to pod next week at some point for just some French Open recap, and we're gonna get ready for grass season.
Yep, I agree.
All right. So, all right. Sounds
All
good,
right,
everyone.
everyone.
Have a good one.